Hi, I'm Kelly at Book and Paper Arts, and today I'm going to show how to make rusty papers like this. It is messy, but it's easy, it's inexpensive, and it only takes some things that you can get easily from your local shops. You can use these for journal pages. That's what I'm going to do. But you can also use it for card making, collage backgrounds. You could tear this up for fodder and make some cool stuff out of that. Whatever kind of mixed media paper projects that you like working in. I know that this look is not for everybody, but to me it suggests something that is old and that has been used and marked by time and has a story and mystery. And I'm here for that. So if you'd like to learn how to make these kinds of papers, please join me. If you like journal arts, if you like book and paper arts, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and be sure and turn on the notifications, and you will have more of them in your life. Now let's go rust some paper. And here are the materials that you're going to need today. Our magic ingredient is steel wool. When I was growing up, steel wool came in the supermarket and it had soap in it, and you used it for scrubbing pots and pans. That's not the one you want. I got this at the DIY store. It came in a big old bag. It wasn't much. I think it was about $8, but maybe 6 pounds-ish. But it's a lot of it, so it's going to make a ton of rust. You are going to need rubber gloves. If you've seen my videos, you know that I rarely use them. I prefer to make a mess and clean up later. But when you start working with the steel wool and the rust, I tried it without gloves and it turned my fingernails and my fingers really dark, stained for a couple of days. And that can't be good for you either. So in this case, wear rubber gloves or maybe put some plastic bags over your hands if that's what you've got. But you really should use something. Speaking of, put something down to protect your workspace. Again, when this starts turning, rusting, it's going to do it fast and it's going to get flaky and messy and gorgeous, but you don't want that on your furniture or your workspace. I am using a medium weight watercolor paper. You could also use cardstock, fabric. In fact, in a few days, I'm going to show this technique using fabric. So we'll see what that looks like. I've gone ahead and torn mine to this size because I know that I'm going to be making them into book pages. And I'm short on space right now, and since I know that's the size I'm going to work with, they're already there. But make them into any size and shape that you like working with. Finally, I'm using white vinegar and water. It's half and half, 50-50, and that's what I'm going to use on my papers to activate the steel wool and make the rust. These are some papers that I have been soaking for about an hour in half vinegar, half water, and they are quite damp. You want to work while they're still wet. We're going to make some bundles now. What you want to do is take a hunk of the steel wool, just separate it out there, put it down, and then just going to fold the paper over it like this. Squish it, and do it again. Now, you can make your bundles as big as you want. I am short on paper today and time, so I'm just going to do a couple of layers. But you could do many, many, many layers of paper here. And what I'm going to do is add a little bit on top and also on the bottom. So just turn this and add some here. Next, I'm going to add a layer of cling wrap or other plastic bag or something. And I'm going to put this aside and put something very heavy on it. I've got a cast iron skillet. I'm going to put that on there. You know what I'm going to do first? Let's add more vinegar and water. Make sure it's saturated. So I'm going to put something on that heavy, weight it down, and then every couple of hours I'm going to turn the bundle over like this. And need some more plastic wrap. So just turn it over every couple of hours. If you want to, you can add some more of the vinegar and water. And I started to see results within about 5 hours, but I actually left mine overnight. So you're going to want to test it and see how it's doing, but basically it's doing. Now I'm going to make a different kind of bundle just to mess around. What I've done is I've taken my vinegar, my pages that were soaked in vinegar and water, and I've added a layer of steel wool and a layer of steel wool. And I'm going to make this into a bundle. So I'm just rolling it nice and tight, like you would a cinnamon roll or a burrito or a sushi roll. And then I'm going to tie it with some twine. And then, again, make sure it's nice and saturated. And I'm going to wrap this bundle in some cling wrap to keep it moist and put it aside. Again, you want to turn it every few hours, maybe re-wet it a bit if you want to, and then let it sit. I made a separate batch off camera with tea-dyed papers to see what would happen. Tea has tannins in it, and I often use it when I'm making eco prints with leaves and other plants. So I'm going to see how it does with rust. So I dyed my paper, soaked the papers in tea for an hour, and then made a flat bundle and made a rolled bundle. Wrap them in some cling wrap, and now I'm going to put something heavy on this. Like I said, you just want to turn them every few hours. Might want to re-wet them. I started to see results after about 5 hours, but I'm going to leave mine overnight. Then I'll open up the plastic and let them air dry. Waiting's the hardest part. Okay, let's look at what we've got here. The bundles are dry. I've left them overnight. And I took off the plastic wrap so they could dry. So take off the plastic wrap and then let them dry for a few more hours. Let's unbundle. At this point, you do want to protect your hands either with some gloves or some plastic bags over them. You may want to wear a mask because at this point the steel wool is rusted and it's pretty flaky. So if you're sensitive, go ahead and wear a mask at this point. You don't want to inhale that stuff. Let's go. This is the bundle made with the vinegar water. That's a nice rustly sound. I'm going to take that off, put it aside, and see what we've got. Whoa. Now that is, that is formidable. Yeah. See how it's turning into flakes here? Yeah, you don't want to breathe that. But those pages are extraordinary. And let's see how this round bundle turned out. This is also using the vinegar water. Also amazing. That's pretty. All right, so these are the ones with the vinegar water. Let's see what the ones with tea look like. These are the pages that were soaked just with tea. Now, it did not grab the rust on both sides the way that the vinegar water did, but I think this is still very dramatic and very interesting. Let's see. Yes, you have the same thing here. I like that. I like that a lot. It's more like a Rorschach test. It's very cool. Here is the tea bundle, round bundle. Let's see what happened. Alrighty. Here, now we have some more drama. Because it was, you know, bound closer together. So that's what it's looking like with the tea. And again, just because it's just two different styles. The vinegar water gave a lot of rust. This is giving less, but very dramatic patterns. So it's going to be just a matter of style with what you like. Now, you want to save the steel wool that you've already used. And that is because it's already pre-rusting here, distressed. And this is a bundle that I made using the steel wool on what you might call a second pull. I had already used the steel wool in a previous batch of papers, and then this bundle is using the used steel wool, second time. And I did soak these with the vinegar water. And they're even more dramatic. So see, this is the first batch with the new steel wool, and this is the batch with the second pull, the second time with the steel wool. So it's got a different tone. And a different mystery to it. And I think I actually prefer this one, so be sure and save this because you're going to use it again. I'm actually going to go wash these. I'm going to rinse them very well in some cool water to get off any extra steel wool or gunk. You don't want that floating around in your pages when you're trying to glue stuff down. So I'm going to go rinse these really well, let them dry, come back. And there you go. I have ironed these so that they'll lay flat. I think when I make the next batch, I'm going to use a little bit less of the steel wool and see what effect that gives. So play around, see what you like. I'm definitely going to be using these as journal pages in my messy art journals. Please check out the text box below this video, and there you're going to find some written instructions for this technique in case I went too fast. You're also going to find a link to Ko-fi if you would like to support this channel, and you're going to find a link to my online classes. If you have any questions or any feedback, please let me know in the comments below and we can compare notes. Join me in a few days because I'm going to try this technique on some fabric and we'll see what that looks like. Until then, get up and go make something. Bye.